Okay, I'd like to bring this meeting to order for the Town of Brunswick Planning Board for November 21st, 2024. If everybody please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our agenda this evening is as follows. This was posted on the town website and the town board. Number one, Marie's Muse LLC, site plan and minor subdivision. Applicant seeks minor subdivision approval and site plan approval to construct a drive-through restaurant and retail building on the east portion of the site and a second drive-through restaurant on the western portion of the site at 727, 737 Hoosick Road and 4 Mohawk Avenue. Marie's Muse is the LLC, and they're the applicant. We also will be reviewing a new application that was received after November 7th. So with that being said, our first order of business is the review of the minutes of the planning board on November 7th. Does anybody have any comments, additions, corrections for those minutes? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to approve the minutes as they were submitted. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, we only have one item on our agenda tonight, which is the Marie's Muse LLC. The gentleman would like to come up here. Before you start your presentation, I just want to make note, obviously, most of you people are here for this application. We do not have public opinion taken at the meetings. That is all. There's no public forum. These are strictly business meetings. All comments received by for the application from residents and so forth are submitted in the public hearing. We have not reached the public hearing yet, so there is no public forum at this point. The applicant has sought he says there's some new developments on the site that they wish to present. So this is like a initial presentation. And I will turn the floor over to them.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tim Freitag with Boulder Engineering, here on behalf of the applicant, Marie's Muse LLC. Along with me tonight is also Cole Hill, representing the applicant only for the project. No pressure tonight. We're not looking for any approvals. It's more of a workshop to provide an update on some changes that we're making to our application. We'll hear any preliminary feedback, but we certainly have our work to do amending our application more formally, updating some studies and reports, and resubmitting to this board. Since we were here last in September, I believe, this mixed-use development project went through an extensive secret review. We were really down to one item related to stormwater. We met with Wayne Town Engineer representatives and Bill Bradley out on site to go through some additional stormwater testing that will still be applicable to our project. But tonight we're presenting a minor change to one of the proposed uses of this mixed-use development. So on lot 1, where the former quick serve restaurant was proposed, also Chick-fil-A, we are now amending the application to present a retail facility with gasoline sales in place of that. What I circulated to the board is a preliminary concept plan of the change. It's also here on the easel. You can see lot 2, or the eastern lot with the proposed 2 uses, hasn't changed. That's still going to stay the same on the application. On the western portion, or what we call lot 1 of the 2 lot subdivision project here, shows the change. The modification of the site plan is actually less intrusive than it sounds. So we replaced a 7,000 square foot building footprint with a 7,000 square foot building footprint. The Chick-fil-A was about 5,000 inside with an attached, plus or minus 2,000 canopy. This is a 7,000 square foot retail building. And then off to the east is going to be the fuel service or gasoline sales with 6 dispensers and a canopy over the dispensers. Around the perimeter is the parking lot with driveways for both delivery and vehicle or gasoline service and deliveries. On the east side of the dispensers, right here, is the proposed underground storage tanks. Overall, you can see that the building is generally in the same location of the Chick-fil-A. Parking, drive aisles, pavements generally in the same location. Access drives haven't changed. We still have a wall in the front of that lot. We still have a wall in the back of the lot. Not much has changed. The biggest impact we see, especially from a secret perspective, is really just the change in hotspot use. So hotspot use is a term New York State DEC uses for more sensitive uses when it comes to stormwater management. So the gasoline portion of the site is going to have additional requirements from a stormwater management perspective. So we're starting that exercise now, taking the additional reconnaissance we did in the field with Wayne and Bill Bradley from the town, and also now the revised hotspot use to amend our site scope. So that's really the significant change we see from a seeker's perspective. We're updating the traffic study. We're updating all of the other reports. We don't expect major outcome of that. We don't have the reports back yet, so I can't provide testimony on what that looks like just yet, but we don't expect much of a change. The biggest change from a traffic perspective is really a benefit. I think the stacking concern that this board previously had with the Chick-fil-A goes away. And also the destination use changes to more of a tax use. So the destination use for the quick serve restaurant, around 50% of the traffic's already on the road. They're pulling in at convenience. For a gasoline service station, and there's other gasoline service stations just down the road, it's less of a destination use. At 50% goes more to 70%. So it's pulling cars off of the road that are already on the road, rather than somebody driving from town of Colony to town of Brunswick just to get a chicken sandwich. Nobody's going to be driving from Colony here just to go to the gasoline service station. The tenant who is looking to come here is not really in this area. Their closest location is in Kingston and Socrates. They're looking at multiple locations in the capital region, this being one of them, to kind of bring their presence up here. They're known as Quick Check. They are the ones looking at this location.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Quick Check.
Quick Check.
Yeah. So in addition to the gasoline service, they'll have an in-store area with fresh produced food and coffee and the typical convenience store amenities from there. There will be some seating arrangements both inside and outside also for that packaged food that could be consumed. Overall, we've got about 49 parking spaces proposed on the site, but we don't have the drive-through for the spaces that the previous application had. So that's really an overview of the change. Again, we're amending our application, doing our due diligence, going through all the reports. So we don't have all the answers tonight, but we just want to present that update to the board, have some Q&A on preliminary questions or anything else you may feel helpful in our amended application for your review moving forward. So, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back over to you for any questions.
Okay, I have one initial question. There was some extensive traffic studies done on the intersection there, incorporating a light, for example. I assume that's still going to be there. Is the improvements to McChesney Avenue also going to be pursued?
Yes. So right now we're going through the exercise of updating the traffic study. But based on our preliminary conversations, the offsite mitigation can be consistent with what was previously approved. So we're just running through that exercise to make sure that's the case.
Okay. Second question, I think you already answered that. There is no drive-through at all on this. So there's no stacking issues or anything like that.
That's right. The drive-through on lot 2, furthest to the east, still remains as previously proposed.
Yeah.
But with the new retail gasoline station, is not a,
Okay.
What is your plan for the 2 buildings to the east?
plan as far as uses or tenants or,
Who's doing that?
it's the same as previous. It was a quick serve restaurant. Chipotle is looking at it, and then next door was a mattress firm. Mattress firm?
Mattress firm. Mattress store. Metro mattress. across the street.
So the large white area around the perimeter, is that where the outside seating is gonna be? Is that what that's?
Can't be. So it's a little distracting. This is actually parking around the perimeter. It's a different color because it's in concrete versus asphalt. And then within kind of that border, within that white space, there will be some seating in the front corners.
There won't be any outside displays or anything like that like you would see at a Walmart's or anything like that. You're not going to be selling.
I don't believe so, but a good question that comes up with some of these is, propane. Sometimes there's outdoor propane sales, so
Yeah.
we'll take that back and see if there's any.
Okay.
proposed.
Is the symbol on the front of the gas station portion, electric chargers?
They have a vacuum and air station proposed out in the front there.
I mean, that one closest to the intersection of McChesney there.
It's somewhat in the middle here.
Yeah, okay.
There's one vacuum unit that would serve the 2 spaces.
There's not a car wash there.
No.
Okay.
And pedestrian access off of 7 into that facility needs to go through the property to the east because of grade.
Yeah, it's a great point and one we are looking at. What we're thinking of doing right now is shifting this connection from here to here at least, just to get it a little bit closer.
Mhm.
But given the grades, there's going to be a retaining wall, so nobody's going to be physically able to walk in there anyway. But it's unrealistic probably to ask somebody to go all the way over here and around. Somebody's going to just sneak up the driveway, so we're looking at relocating this to potentially here to try to get up and in.
Is there any chance that this can be pushed back? If you notice on the eastern portion, you have quite a bit of green space there between the road and the beginning of the parking lot. Is there any chance by maybe even angle parking or something like that, that can be pushed back to match up with that? The only reason I'm saying that is,
You're saying kind of line up the curve here.
yeah, kind of, I don't know how far you can push that lot 1, that whole thing back. I'm also looking at, aesthetically, but I'm also looking at the fact that somewhere along the line, not in my lifetime, but they might want to push this road out. And if you're right there, that opportunity is it's gonna be difficult. We have done this up in the, especially on the north side of Hoosick Street, make sure that there's setbacks on these buildings would accommodate additional lanes if this road was expanded out.
Yeah, we've only done the preliminary grading exercise at this point.
Yeah.
We are progressing the full detailed design, so we'll look at that as we get into the design and see if we can push that in a little bit.
Is that tree line actually the end of your property? Or does it go further?
Right here?
Yeah.
That's, those trees are actually on the neighbor's property for a prior agreement, so that black line just in front of those trees is the property line.
Mm-hmm.
And in discussion with those neighbors early on, they asked us to add some additional plantings on their property. But that's our pinch point, to your point, if we could push everything back, that's our limit, is that property line back there.
How much distance you think that pushback would be? 15, 20 feet?
From the property line to here,
Yeah,
right here, it's probably closer to 10 feet to the property line, then you have another 10 to the edge of the curve of the road.
okay.
So edge of the road to the curb on this side is probably around 20 feet. Actually, if you further look to the east, it's relatively consistent with the rest of the
Yeah.
neighbors.
That southwest corner where the building looks a lot narrower than the rest of the. Drive around the buildings, looks like,
Right here,
yeah,
the striping, it's hard to see, it's a port plan showing the striping, but the striping actually comes in a little bit from that concrete. We would maintain the minimum 24-foot there for two-way flow.
You said you had 49 spots there. How does that match up with the required number? Like,
I'd have to do a calculation on the,
So a 6,730 square foot retail facility. And 4 spaces per 1,000 are required, so about 27 are required.
you had 49?
We have 49 based on quick check standards. So we can ask them if they've got further justification of the need for that or additional other facilities to see if we need that many.
Well, I'm wondering if you did push back this wall in the front, that you could incorporate angle parking like you have on the other side over here, just to give you some space. I mean, it's just a thought.
Yeah, with the angle parking comes one-way circulation, so that would be the bigger thing to look at here, just from a truck turning delivery perspective.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But there certainly may be something there.
So ideally, the way this is set up, they would enter up here, right?
Yep.
And then they could go, obviously, to the gas station pumps. They would exit down here. Can they also go this way?
We can.
Okay.
And as far as deliveries go, they would also come in and navigate around the building, back out.
Okay. Where's your dumpsters?
Right here in the back.
Okay. And where would snow removal go?
How much space left is there?
No. There isn't.
Might also be good to see the truck turning movement coming out of that one way out.
Sure.
Make sure that they can make that turn within the exit.
We'll get you more information on the snow and the rest.
And the block in the northeast corner, is that also for stuff?
Please say again?
The northeast corner, you have another white block there, is that also for dumpsters?
This is the dumpster.
No,
Yeah.
keep going to the right.
The eastern lot two.
Yeah, what is it?
Yes, that's the trash enclosure for this use.
Now, is this actually, this zigzag that's up here on the top of lot two,
Property boundary.
that is actually the property line?
That's right.
So this, the property up there, this whole back section belongs to this house off Mohawk? That whole lot?
So Mohawk comes to here, to this back yard here.
Yeah.
And the property line continues up in this direction.
Okay,
This lot here is the house up on the hill. So yes, all these trees are on the Mohawk property.
okay.
Is there some way for pedestrians that are coming from the Troy side of, to access the lot?
Coming in this direction.
Yeah,
Yeah, right now, this retaining wall hinders anybody from coming up. So kind of the discussion we were having is we're thinking about moving that connection from here to here. That way, once you pass the wall, you come up and over into this spot.
You
Any ways-
You can't bring them up Mohawk.
bring them up Mohawk and in.
Mohawk's really steep. And there's no sidewalk accommodations up Mohawk right now.
But you could put them in.
You could put a sidewalk, the sidewalk would just have to be the slope of the road that exceeds the accessibility slopes.
You got up to the, as far up as the front of the building, you might be able to halfway up the lot.
Yeah, I think we have to come all the way up here just because of this retaining wall that's gonna wrap
That
the
steep?
site. But we can look at it. Like I said, we haven't finalized the grading plan yet, so it's a good option to look into.
What is the elevation difference roughly between the sidewalk and the south side of the project compared to the parking lot side?
So again, just throwing rough numbers on it, on a preliminary concept. We're gonna refine this. But right now, we're looking at the parking lot here is about 10 feet higher than the road here. Then the building would progress up, and then back here would be about a 6-foot retaining wall in the middle. So you're looking around 10 in the front and 6 in the back.
And those cars go towards the retaining wall. I assume there's gonna be a fence along there.
There'll be
Guardrail or something.
a safety fence for pedestrians and then a guardrail for cars.
Okay. And what about the back? Is there gonna be a fence on the top of that
So there
also?
would be a fence on top.
Did you,
And the entrance onto Mohawk, that is both ways, right?
Yes.
Okay.
did you solve your stormwater problems or
We only made it harder.
what's that?
We made it harder by adding the hotspot use. So we're good.
I mean, you got like no impervious, it's all blacktop or building.
Yeah, the gasoline sale, so we have to collect and pre-treat that area, so it's gonna be more treatment on site. We did find infiltration areas out in the field with Wayne and Bill. So what I imagine is there's gonna be infiltrators under this whole portion of the site. And then extended detention with a lot of underground pipe for storage.
Go down the table here. Do you have any questions? No? Kevin?
No, not right at the moment.
Andy? Don, you have any additional questions?
No, this is just a preliminary introduction.
No pressure tonight.
Okay. Linda, or?
I'm okay for now.
All right, Just to clarify something, is this an alternative plan with the idea that Plan 1 could still happen?
This is the application. Correct.
Okay. So I'm not going to ask you officially if the first application is now off the table.
We will formally reapply and amend our application.
Okay.
And the application is the
I
application.
mean, you haven't done that yet, so that's why I'm asking.
But our intent is, we started working on it, and our goal is to resubmit by the end of the month.
Okay, all right. All right. And just to summarize, you are going to update the traffic report.
Yeah,
It seems
so-
to me like there would be some circumstances now that lessen that traffic impact.
Yeah, that was our high level discussion with the traffic engineer. That's what he's thinking is gonna be a result of it. But we're updating the full traffic study, we're updating the full SWIP and stormwater report. We're gonna amend our application accordingly and then provide a narrative of the changes from a secret perspective, just to make sure that we're consistent with the prior review, where we can focus this board on any changes important as part of that secret discussion. We do expect the next steps to be similar. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think we need to navigate the secret process still first, get a secret determination done, and then we'll navigate the site plan review, looking at the process from that to the public hearing.
Generally correct. We'll have to take a look at the amended application to see if we need to recirculate lead agency coordination, but we'll take a look at that when it comes in.
Again, I imagine everything's gonna be consistent or less intrusive,
Yeah.
except the only component is just adding the petroleum to it, but making sure it's addressed.
And just one dumb question.
No double question.
The traffic or the gasoline station here, there's, I believe, 6 stations. So there's like 2 pumps on each.
That's right, so there's 6 dispensers and you can service on both sides.
Okay. Is there any chance of reducing that number if you had to?
So, the tenant here has gone through an extensive due diligence review and has found out that this site is not cheap to build. There's a lot of retaining walls and fills. We asked if we could reduce that. We've asked if we could reduce the building size, the footprint, just because a lot. Unfortunately, the answer has been no this far. So I'll take it back to them, certainly have that question.
Well, I mean, you certainly could tell them that the board asked about that also. I think, there isn't a lot of green space here, obviously, and the stormwater issue is gonna be that. There's actually no chance that they would operate the store without any gas pumps, is that correct?
Yeah, no.
I just thought I'd set that for the record. All right. If we don't have any other questions, I think we can, Andy, do you have any questions
No,
or
just one.
have any comments? Okay. How do you want to proceed here as far as coming before our board with a formal?
So our target is to resubmit the full materials toward the end of this month. I don't know if your first meeting in December would give everybody enough time to review it. We could just come back and present those updated materials if you'd like, or if you want more time to review the full application, to have a more formal discussion at the second meeting in December, but there, the snow on our application should be in the next week or so.
Okay. I think I would prefer to have the whole thing, some time to look at it. Our next meeting is on December, help you guys.
I believe it's the 5th.
Yep. So then the one after that would be the 19th.
We're closed Thursday and Friday, so we wouldn't be able to get them out.
We're closed Thursday and Friday.
Thanksgiving and day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's area one. Thanksgiving next week. Let's push on the agenda for the 19th.
Yeah, that makes sense, and it gives me some time to review.
Yeah, yeah, Wayne couldn't be here tonight, obviously, but, yeah, that would give him time to review it and give us a little bit more time to take a look at it.
Sure.
So we'll put you on the agenda for the 19th. Do you have any questions of us?
No, I don't think so. We're still doing our due diligence, so our application should be pretty thorough. We submit everything and kind of summarize the highlights and the changes that I covered to help streamline that review for you.
Okay.
Appreciate the feedback and your time this evening, and we'll see you before Christmas.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice Thanksgiving.
Yes, you too.
Okay. Okay, that completes our agenda item of 1. We do have some new business and some old business to take care of. On the new business, we have received a waiver of subdivision application from Chad Murray and Emily Murphy, excuse me. Chad, and Emily Murphy. Are they here? Okay. Is a representative from Brian Holbert here? Okay. They don't have to be, don't worry. This is strictly a review to put them on the agenda. So everybody had an opportunity to take a look at this. You want to just review this with us, Mike? It's Hudson Drive. The proposed lot is 0.86 acres divided off.
Yeah, they're just doing a waiver. I believe it's for their son, daughter.
Okay.
Hudson Drive is a cul-de-sac, dead end road.
It's weird that it's the street goes up the one way and then there's it was never a completed cul-de-sac on the other side.
So it's basically a loop road, right? And then it goes back down, so it's a dead end. Right?
Yep.
You know how many houses are up there?
Don't, not off the top of my head.
Okay, we have to find that out. How many houses are on this Hudson Drive? I assume Hudson Drive is a full loop, right? I think it is. It's
I
not
don't-
another street or anything, is it?
Well, it goes up to Berkshire, I believe, and that's where the loop is.
No, I tell you the truth, I'm not too familiar with it. But I can drive over there. So we have to find out how many houses are on this, because would be classified as a dead end street, especially where this new lot is positioned. Is this public water and public sewer? I don't think so. Oh, I know where this is.
Oh, do you have the extra mask of myself and the security that we get?
I can see. They should have been. Yours was probably in your newspaper box.
I got this one on the map.
Feeling well.
I don't see any. I don't see any of those in the middle.
No.
I think that's public water. Well, I doubt whether it's sewage.
There you go.
But I don't see a septic system on the initial lot. Because Mountain View is just right over here, right? Do I understand?
Spring Avenue and Menendez Shop.
Yeah. it might be public sewer and water.
You got one, man. Oh, thank you, Mike.
Like I would say, if there's no septic system listed on the,
Yeah,
but it's gotta be public sewer and water. Okay, does anybody have any questions on this? We'll put them on our agenda for our next meeting on the 5th. Ryan Holbrook is usually pretty good about putting all this
It's
stuff on.
private, it's on the EAF for us. We're proposing a well and septic.
Really?
Yep.
Then that has to be put on the, that has to be put on the drawing, I would assume, right?
The adjacent, we need to know where the adjacent, septic and well are as well.
So dark. Where did you see that, Andy, on that?
So if you look at the short EAF, it's on page 2, questions 10 and 11.
Yeah, I think we have to know where the well and septic is on the original lot. So,
I'll contact Brian tomorrow.
yeah, I would contact them on that. I don't see anything. What is this asphalt drive up in the one corner there? Is it a tennis court or something? I'm talking about this right up here. It says an asphalt drive in the middle of nowhere.
That's why, I think it's like the road bends right there and there's just, I think that's where that circle was gonna complete. They were originally.
Like.
Hmm? Oh, that I don't know.
We'll get some answers when they prepare. So we'll put them on our agenda for our next meeting on the 5th. And hopefully we can get a couple answers, if you hold the Brian over and ask him where the septic and the well is gonna be on the old lot and where they propose it on the new one. Any other questions on that?
The EAF mapper also had wetlands map marked, but, doesn't appear that they affect the lot, so. It may just be in the zone, but we should probably just check it.
Yeah. All right. Okay, that's it for new business, right? Mike, there's nothing else you have,
Nope.
right? Okay, under old business, CDE North America was required to establish a escrow account for services that the planning board required. I did get a letter from Wayne Bowensteel. And they had an estimate, anticipate the costs associated with this review of being $5,500. And the applicant should deposit the whole amount of our estimate with the town prior to the completion of our review of the VIA, which is a visual impact assessment. We also received, in connection with that project, the wetland and water course delineation report, Tektronix. So there's two things we had there. I understand that there was some communication between the town clerk and the applicant, and they're going to be depositing the check. So do we put them on our agenda for our next meeting? Or do we have to get with Wayne to find out where that?
I would hold and see. I think once the escrow is established, they'll complete their review of the visual. I just don't know if it'll be done by the day.
Okay. All right. So we'll put them on hold right now. The only other thing I have is the Paramount Building Group. And we had, at our last meeting, gave them a recommendation to present to the town board for the more than 12 lots on a dead-end street, a waiver for that. Apparently, at the following meeting on the following Thursday, it was not brought up. So I assume that that's going to be brought up at the next town meeting?
Yes.
All right. So we can't do anything until we get that.
That's correct.
So the next town meeting is when?
The 12th of December.
Right, the 12th.
12? Okay.
I did see an email where the engineer did request to be put on your December 5th, because I think they may have some of their updated plans or technical work completed.
All right.
That's within your discretion.
We'll put them on the agenda tentative. All right. Is there any other old business that anyone wishes to discuss? Okay, then just to review our agenda, we have the Paramount Building Group, and we have the Murphy waiver of subdivision. I don't know of anything else that was related to any minutes or anything. Okay. Anything else? Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Everyone have a nice Thanksgiving.
Thank you, you too.